So we now focus on the sources of finance. When we talk about sources of finance, we first see the purpose for which we require the finance. Now, depending on the purpose, we can distinctly divide the source of finance in two broad categories. One is the finance required for the long-term requirement of the business, and finance required for running the business on day-to-day basis. So, the requirement of permanent type of finance is called long-term finance, and for running of the day-to-day operation of the business, what basically we call working capital, right? So how do I finance working capital? That actually comes in the short-term financing. So now we'll focus one by one. First we focus on the long-term financing, and then we focus on the short-term financing. In long term, we have two broad categories. Category 1 is equity and category 2 is debt. Equity is owner's capital and debt is borrowed capital. There is one third category which is not very popular or terribly popular in India. This is called preference capital. This is a sort of mix of debt and equity. We also call it quasi equity, quasi debt, or it's a mixed capital or hybrid type of financing, which has some element of equity financing, some element of debt financing. So broad category wise, we have primarily two types. One is equity capital, that is owner's contribution, and the second one is debt capital, that is borrowed capital. So we'll just see one by one. Start with equity capital. What is an equity capital and how do I raise equity capital? Equity capital simply represents owner's contribution or ownership capital. So if I have equity capital, I have ownership in the company. Now, if it's a small business, the fund that I invest. If it's a large business, my portion of fund that is invested in the equity share capital is called equity capital. So my own contribution, the owner's own contribution is equity. So that's a source. Owner's own contribution represents a source, and that particular contribution is known as the equity. Now, when you have an equity, that means you have an ownership, you earn a profit, then you have a right on that profit. When you voluntarily decide that I will not take the profit, rather I'll retain in that particular profit or portion of profit in my business, right, then that portion of the profit is called retained earning, which is again taken similar to injection of new equity capital. Why it is taken similar? Because this profit belongs to you, the equity shareholders. Now when I'm not taking profit, it is equivalent to investing further equity capital in the business. So retained earning is another source of equity financing of the business. When my business is small or it is in private limited format, then I have certain limitations of expansion. If I need money, then I have certain limitations that how much money can I raise. I have my own limitations of contributing fund. Then one particular way is raising fund from public by giving them the share of ownership. Raising fund from public by giving share of ownership, when I do it for the first time, we call it initial public offerings or IPO. The term initial means I am raising it for the first time. That means a private limited company is actually converted into public limited company, or public limited company is raising fund from public for the first time. There are two types of owners in a public limited company. One is called promoter owner. That means those are the person who actually float the company. Like if I give an example, Mr. Narayan Murthy is a promoter of Infosys Limited. But when you buy a share of Infosys Limited, you are not a promoter, you are a non-promoter owner of Infosys Limited. So promoter owner and non-promoter owners. So these non-promoter owners basically get the ownership through these public offerings. When promoters decide to raise further fund, then actually they resort to non-promoters and they collect fund from these section of the owners. Now when I do it for the first time, I call it initial public offering. It may require that companies may require further funds in future course of action, then we call that follow-on offer. Now when I actually raise funds through follow-on offer, again it is like an initial public offering, but it is not initial, as it is not first time, so the same thing can be called follow-on offer. So it is again asking for fund from general public from public in general. But when I actually ask for fund or ask for equity capital from my existing shareholders, then that kind of raising a fund is called rights issue, because here my existing shareholders has preferential right over others to raise funds or to contribute equity. So this kind of financing is called rights issue. So this is simply IPO is raising fund for the first time. Follow-on offers are raising fund for second time onward, but that is to general public. Rights issue is raising fund from the existing shareholders. What is a private placement? When I raise fund from a small number of investors, naturally small number of investors means they may be banks, financial institutions, insurance companies, etc. So when I contact a small number of investors and raise equity financing from them, then I call it private placement. Number 2 is preferential capital. Now preferential capital is basically hybrid form of financing, and it is not very popular in India. Mostly used when companies require large funds, but they do not have that much amount of time, so large fund on short notice. So basically it is not very right time to go to large number of investors. So normally they contact a few large investors, and they issue preferential capital to these investors. So that is why it is not very popular. There are some other reasons why it is sort of disadvantageous. It has a component of double taxation. It has to pay dividend distribution tax. The amount that is paid to the preference shareholders are fixed, but that is called dividend. So naturally dividend distribution tax is attracted. But if the dividend income is more than 10 lakhs, then obviously it is again subject to income tax. So beyond the limit, it suffers from the double taxation problem. Preference dividend is not tax deductible. Like when I take loan, then interest is a tax deductible expenses. But when I take money from preference share capital, as that is regarded as dividend, so that is not tax deductible like interest on loan. Dividend payments are inevitable and recurring. Like in equity capital, how much dividend to be paid is not fixed, but in preference capital, suppose it is 10% preference share capital, so it is fixed that I have to pay 10% return irrespective of the fact that I have made a profit or not, but 10% return has to be given. Naturally the claim wise, first debenture holders or debt capital, if something is left, then obviously preference shareholders are to be paid. But I do not have any choice to pay in some year 5%, in some year 10%. If I have money, then I have to pay 10%. So that is the problem with preferential capital. Now next is debenture or debt capital. Now what are the debt capital? Long-term debt capitals are fixed interest bearing sources. So that is only one feature that makes debt capital very unique, that is it is fixed interest bearing. Debt capitals are cost effective. We will see this when we study cost of capital. We see that cost of debt is comparatively cheaper source of capital. Now there are broad two types of the debt capital. One is called term loan, one is called bonds or debentures. Now what is the basic difference between these two? Term loans are basically raised from banks or non-banking financial institutions. They are cost effective, but they are risky, as that is the nature of debt capital. Debentures are actually term loans, or debentures are actually debt capital which are actually raised from the public by issuing debenture certificates. There are different types of debenture certificates. There are so many different components of debenture certificate, but mostly non-convertible debentures are most common type of debenture certificate that is issued by the companies. There are different ways we can classify debentures, but we don't have the scope to discuss that in this video lecture. Long-term financing for startups, this has become eventually very important now. Startups are mostly not ready to tap the financial market, so the two primary sources of funds for startups are venture capital and private equity. These cases, they invest in highly risky businesses. As these are new business, so they must be highly risky, but their terms are not very standardized.